Hello, Dark Souls PvPers and players out there. I have kind of been, looking to get myself online and begin commenting on some of the Dark Souls situations and present predicaments that we're in right now. Personally, for me to just express how I feel about the Dark Souls community, I love it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I used to. I have thought things were wrong with the Dark Souls community. I have hated gankers. And I have hated modders. And the truth is it was out of ignorance. Today, this video and this commentary, or expression, if you will, is really going to cover a couple of topics. 3, I believe. The first thing I want to talk about is OP. And I want to talk about legit builds versus modders. And I want to talk about ganking. From America to Europe to Australia to Japan to Asia to the Middle East. The people are uniting in Dark Souls community, which is a relatively smaller community in my opinion, in comparison to communities like the online PC, MMORPGs, and your Call of Duties, as far as consoles. It's kind of small in comparison, but moving on. OP. Let's just talk about 3 main topics that's overpowered in the Dark Souls community after the 1.06 patch DLC that we just received. First thing on the list is the Dark Moon Blade or the Sunlight Blade. These are overpowered. My opinion on that, I will get to that after I cover the other 2. The second thing is Hornet Rings. And then last but not least, I would just say Wrath of Gods or Dark B, Dark Magics. These are what you call overpowered. Now, as a person, depending on your build, first of all, Dark Moon Blade, Wrath of Gods, Dark Magics are not overpowered. As explained by countless other YouTube uploaders, Great Magic Barrier reduces all damage received by magic by 95%, 90%. It does nothing. You don't receive magic damage, period. And it only takes what I believe 24 faith to be able to cast it. That's nothing. So I want to do OP versus NPCs and bosses. I kind of want to talk about that as a more opinion on how I feel about what's overpowered. First off, what's truly overpowered? Lautrec is overpowered. To any gamer, relatively, if you're a noob, a newcomer, an intermediate, medium type of player, a novice, or even a veteran. Veterans understand Lautrec is a deadly opponent in two regards. First off, if you don't have poise, and even if you do have poise, you're in trouble. He's gonna go past your shoot unless you can parry, unless you're just a hot shot. Going further and bypassing how good you can play against him, he kills the Firekeeper at Firelink, the safest, most valuable place in the game. As soon as you find out where to go as far as the ringing the bells, the Firekeeper's dead if he's not dead. I mean, let's just face it. Newcomers aren't killing NPCs like that. All players don't play like that. Because you will, in this game, in Demon Souls and in Dark Souls, you are typically punished for killing NPCs. Unlawfully or lawfully. Let's go to Knight Kirk. Kirk is overpowered in my opinion. He has armor that by rolling into you, you take damage. He breaks your poise if you don't have any poise. That's for the sorcerers, the clerics, any type of build out there or players out there that's using a player without any poise. You're getting demolished. And 9 times out of 10, if you don't have any poise, you don't have any bleed resistance, let alone blood red moss. To even know to even activate it, to use it, to reduce the accumulation of blood loss. Kirk spawns at the worst places possible. Spawns right next to the cursed frogs, or a person would possibly even continue to keep running into the sewers without even knowing what the cursed frogs do. If you're in human form again, he will invade again until you kill him. It's just, in general, it's the NPCs are overpowered. Moving on to the bosses. I don't even really have to talk too much about the bosses now that I think about it. Everyone knows that Artorias is just ridiculous. When the game first came out, everyone said Ornstein and Smough was stupid, which they still are today. They are. And pretty much the community as a whole have whined and cried until the developers have constantly patched and patched and patched and patched into making the game easier and easier. Now, at the start of the game, you get 3 humanity next to the well when you usually would only get 1. You get 3 now. And me personally, I'm upset about it. I don't like it. I don't like that we have guys saying that the Hornet Ring is overpowered. Now, I'm going to go into the Hornet Ring. First of all, you have to look at, I don't want to get too much into a lore in this video, but you have to look at somewhat of the story. Out of the 4 knights, we now can say Artorias is definitely the worst one. This guy is unbeatable, flat out. He can't be beat. I don't like him personally. That's just me. Maybe in a future video I may explain why I don't like him, based on lore, based on just the fact that maybe he just whooped my ass all the time. But okay, Knight Karen, as we have seen, uses the Dark Silver Tracer with a high critical. She's small, as we see, in comparison to Ornstein, Artorias, and Hawkeye Go. Karen is not human, clearly, but she is very human size. In fact, smaller than most humans. Most warriors So the Hornet Ring makes a lot of sense into the type of backstabs and ripostes that she's able to do. Let's go to Nightist, the Blade Moon, the Dark Moon Blade Nightist. She has a parrying dagger. She parries you with a Dark Moon Blade with an S-stock. Without a Hornet Ring, you're most likely dead. I am not a lore expert, but I would rally or assume that she's a Dark Moon Blade +3. She's a Firekeeper. I mean, ridiculous. The point of what I'm saying is these people are overpowered. You're never given a fair opportunity in this game, period. Flat out. 4 kings. It's not 4 of them. It's as many it's as many kings as you're alive for. Ornstein and Smo. I mean, I don't even have to talk about the AI for them. I don't even have to talk about the unlimited stamina that Artorias and Ornstein has, and Ornstein in giant form can't even be stun locked, or at least I don't know how to do it because I've used heavy weapons and I've never seen giant Ornstein stun locked. But who knows? Anything may be able to happen. Next on the list, let's talk. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about OP. I want to say overpowered versus the intention. Some people have a build and they're just testing something out, flat out. You have a rapier of any kind, you should have the Hornet Ring on. You're stupid if you don't. That's just my opinion. You get these guys with their builds. I won't call them a try-hard build because there is a such thing as try-hard build. I may not talk about it in this video, but overpower versus intention. Me personally, I don't really think you can say a player build is overpowered. It's the way he made it. That's just it. If you don't have the physical ring on, the ring of steel and protection, if you don't have that ring on, I mean, and you get riposte by some of these guys with a +15 S-stock or a +15 rapier, you're dead with a Hornet Ring on. Now, I'm happy it got nerfed. I won't front like I'm not happy about it. But it didn't get nerfed that bad. It's still viable in PvP. It's still able to one-shot some player builds. That's just the facts. The people didn't like having 1700 HP getting Hornet Ring backstabbed for all of their HP. And in that case, in my opinion, that is overpowered. The Fog Ring. Was the Fog Ring overpowered? No. You got guys like Dark Souls Mine Eyes that's able to fight without being locked on. You know, I really think that the game has kind of really taken a dive because of the community, not because of the developers. The developers did a remarkable job, in my opinion. I don't play this game for equality or for how fair it is. I play it for the diversity of it and how unfair it is. I used to get enraged at the game. Enraged at the stupidity, the audacity of the amount of enemies that I was up against. It was insane for me. But I kind of want to touch small on legit builds versus modded builds. And I'm gonna leave it like this. What to do about modders. I used to really hate modders. Now I don't hate them. Personally, modders do modding. There's 3 different types of modding that I know of. Some people mod for legit builds. Some people mod to troll. Some people mod because they're not good at playing the game. It's just a flat out fact. What can you do about modders? First off, if you're invading modders, one of the best things to do is to just jump off of a ledge